The symptom is that the rear door, right hand side, driver's side, is locked and will not unlock and is stuck shut. The process is non-destructive but does require a small hole to be drilled in the door panel to allow the T20 driver to be used. The door cannot be unlocked and the key will not operate the deadlock because the lock motor has failed or jammed. It cannot be opened from the inside and neither can it be opened from the outside. This shows how the electric door lock works. I cut 2 holes in an old lock from the left hand side. This is a mirror image of the lock we are trying to remove. When the deadlock is not engaged, the lock moves and the door can be locked and unlocked. If you look closely in the upper hole, you will see a green lever appear when the deadlock is engaged. The motor drives the plunger twice to engage the deadlock. When engaged, the plunger is locked in position and the plate with a finger on it in the top right hand corner cannot move. This shows how the green lever, which lives behind the plunger, works. When it is in the upper position, the deadlock is engaged and it makes contact with the right hand micro switch to tell the management system that the car is deadlocked. This clip shows how the electrical actuator is connected with the mechanical lock. The tongue on the rotating plate engages with the lock, and that's the important connection between the actuator and the lock. And removing that plate with the tongue on it is key to getting the car unlocked. This is how the tongue on the plate operates the orange slider. When the orange slider is in the right hand position, the lock will not operate. The mechanics are disengaged. When the slider is in left hand position, the lock will operate and the door can be opened from either handle. Other videos explain how the door card is removed. This video is about explaining what has to be done with the lock to get the door opened. Removing the door card is not easy and it's not for the faint-hearted. I used a large pry bar starting from the bottom right hand corner. There are no screws holding the door card in place, but do check for screws at the bottom of the door card. The window winder has to be snapped off as shown, and then the handle has to be removed. Sliding back, there are 2 screws to be removed, and that clears the way for removing the door card. Once the door card is removed, the metal plate has to be removed. Removal of the large rubber grommet in the middle allows access to the window winder and the base of the window. Behind this there is a dowel pin holding the window in place, and the window glass has a hole in it where that dowel fits through. This shows where we're going to work on the lock. The screw we want to remove is behind the panel. The only realistic way to remove it is to drill a hole in the panel above the screw. A 5mm hole is ample, and depending on what T20 screw you're going to use. This is the drill point, and this is where the hole has been cut, and you can see the screw, the T20 screw inside that. This is the tool I used, which had a very narrow profile. The 5mm hole was ample. Again, just to remind us where this is the actual lock I took out. The electrical connector has to be removed. That's quite tricky, and I'll show a bit more about that. But this is the screw that we're taking out through that hole, and once the screw is out, the plate becomes loose, and at that point the deadlock is disengaged and the door will open. It may be necessary to tweak it. This is with the door open and on reassembly. This is the electrical connection. It's important to know how that's disconnected. It's very blind, but that's how the lever is lifted up. There's a short cable that connects the lock with the external door handle. The lock can be quite tricky. I am reassembling it here. Removal is the reverse of this process. When the cable is pushed back, the fitting can be replaced. The fitting is secured with a screw accessible from the edge of the door under a rubber grommet. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it gives you an understanding of the lock and what is necessary to get the door open in order to service the lock. Thank you.